Welcome back to all our friends, family, and yes, even our foes, to the Foxx Den Sports Podcast, where Todd and his sports-passionate kids are ready to bring you the latest updates and insights on all things sports. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Foxx Den Sports Podcast, where passion runs wild, takes run hotter, and the skulk runs deep. I'm Todd Foxx, and I'm rolling with my crew, Garrett, slinging sharp takes like three-pointers, Gannon bringing next-level energy straight from the heart, and the Den's heavy hitter himself, Clay Bench McDonald, ready to rattle the cages and drop some bombs. Be careful on those bombs. We're here to chase the biggest stories, battle over the hottest debates, and unleash the savage spirit of sports fandom. This just isn't a podcast, it's a movement. So let's get it. We got Garrett back finally. Garrett, where have you been?
Life, life just takes over.
Love is more important.
This podcast is important, but just other things every once in a while.
That makes sense, because if anybody
Also,
notices
my
the last 3 or 4
blew
weeks,
up,
the
so that plays a factor.
graphics a little bit different and it's a little bit jacked up, and that's because one of the 4 here, minus Garrett, so we one of the 3 have been doing it, and it's not very good. We won't say who it is. And then Kellen's not with us tonight. He is in Florida currently on his anniversary time frame, so no dog tonight. But hey, let's get into it. Let's have some good discussion. We're going to talk a lot about the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight, NBA playoffs, NFL draft, Oklahoma Sooner news as well. But into it. Oklahoma City swept the Memphis Grizzlies 4-0. Historic comeback in Game 2, down 29 points, winning 121 to 117. That's the largest comeback in Thunder playoff history. And was that the largest comeback of any team in playoff history as well? Was it number 2? Gotcha.
Number 2, I think.
Well, let's get into not necessarily
biggest
that
halftime
game, but
comeback,
you
but
can
not
talk
overall.
about that game, but you can also let's just talk about it. The sweep. Expected? What do you got? What do you got?
I'm not surprised at all. I was looking back at a screenshot that I took of all of my predictions across the whole league, and most of them are at least on track to be semi-close. This is obviously the first one to be right because it's the earliest series to end. But, I mean, just complete domination, honestly. We had, obviously, a couple rough stretches, and that was, like, the only piece that made some of those games close. Or, sorry, Game 4. Game 3, we were playing really bad. But overall, I see some fans, like, worried online, at least. I haven't talked to many in person because not many Thunder fans even here. But a lot of fans are all worried online. I don't really think we have a reason to be. I think we're still the best team in the league. And any concern that's fair to bring up, it's not like every other team doesn't have at least the same amount of concerns themselves. I don't know what you guys got, but
I wasn't surprised at all. I think the only surprise was just the fact that it doesn't matter how good we've been in the past. It seems like we can never just put someone in the grave early like that, which is refreshing, and it shows why this team's different for sure. But they played us pretty close the last couple games. I don't doubt that if Ja would have stayed in that game, we would have lost that one. That's just a fact. But it would have been closer. It wouldn't have ended up being 20 or 30, but they still would have won that game. But him coming out yesterday or today saying he had us figured out and it would have been tied 2-2, like, you still played game 1 and 2, and both those games Shai was struggling, which is another point, the fact that we were still able to be so dominant with our best player and the MVP of the league being our, third, fourth best player on the court at the time. So Chet came up big, J-Dub came up big. Yeah. The biggest thing is, can they continue to do it throughout the playoffs? Because last year at this point is about when they fell off.
Yeah. And one thing that's sick just watching the team is it can be any player that makes the difference. And I don't think we've had that ever, I want to say. Because whenever it was, or last time we were this good was a decade ago, and it would be pretty much consistently only Durant or Westbrook. But like this series, like one of the most highlighted players on the team is Caruso, who doesn't have the crazy stats, who just hustles, but he's the one that's like putting in the work and making the difference. And like you mentioned, our number one player didn't even play that good. He played good. He didn't shoot well though.
Defensively, he's still a stud.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, it was honestly just shooting. So he wasn't even at the top of his game, and we still looked just unstoppable. And I also love, just like you mentioned, also J-Dub and Chet. Them stepping up was huge. Clay, what you got?
Yeah, how many times have we beaten Memphis in a row? Is it something like 10 or 12 times?
Oh, I think I saw 12-0 in our last 12.
Yeah, and I
which
think
is like 3
Jaws
years.
played in most of those. I mean, so whenever you figure that out, Jaw. But so yeah, there's that. I mean, I agree with everything y'all said. I mean, I predicted in 5 just because it's so hard to sweep.
It is.
So the fact that we actually did that, I mean, game 3, I was like, probably gonna lose, but hate to lose in a blowout. But as interesting as game 4, that was only our second one basket win of the season. Everything else has been more than that. And so I thought that was interesting. But I think everything you said is we've just spent this whole season building depth and getting ready for moments like this when Shai doesn't play great, Chet doesn't score, Hartenstein didn't have a real good series, Dort had a okay game 1, but other than that, he was like something like 4 for 18 from 3-point line or something like that. He was terrible for what he normally does. And yet we still won 4 games against a playoff team. I mean, that's they might have been the worst of the 16 teams out there. I don't really know, but they're still one of the 16, and that's pretty good. So, it's exciting. I mean, like you said, if you can stick them in the ground, stick them in the ground. You don't want to play around and go, we want to, because I think most people are concerned about laying off. But, we had that 4 win last year against the Pelicans and still beat Mavericks in game 1 last year. So, I don't think layoffs are bad. Gives you more time to scout, more time to rest, more time to do all the things. And
you saw us come into this series super rested.
Yeah,
and those were some of the 2 best games I've ever seen us play.
Yeah, exactly. Won by 50 after resting for 6 days. True.
Now this one might be like a good week before we play him again, at least. But
yeah, if they go to 7.
I think it'll be Los Angeles too.
Well, I know you guys were talking. Sorry, I don't know if my computer's shutting down, but it's saying I have no internet connection at times. So we shall see. But Shai struggled early in the series, but he still averaged 26.5 points, and he locked down on defense, and as well, he came up big when he needed to. That's what you need him for. Here's my question, because Alex Caruso averaged 2 steals and locked down Morant during a lot of key stretches. He's obviously a proven playoff leader on defense. Is this why we got him on the team? Is for this time frame right now?
Oh
yeah.
I
mean,
that
I
was.
agree. I think. Well, name a contender. It's mainly their backcourt leading the way. So the fact that you have Caruso, but I mean, to go further, obviously you got Dort and Kaysen who can do the exact same thing. So yeah, 100%. I think that's why it's just more depth. And then again, that's not even mentioning Shai, who is an underrated point guard and defender.
Well, just
what impressed you the most? What's that?
I was just going to say, if you throw in Giddey in that spot this year, how different the games could have been. I mean, because I think during game 2 when we made our run, we had Caruso, Dort, and Wallace all out there at the same time. They couldn't do anything.
Let me ask you this: what impressed you the most about the sweep? Was it the comeback, the defense, all their composure, all the above? What do you think?
I mean, we've been doing it all year, but probably more so just the composure. I mean, there was multiple times they'd go on a good 7-10-0 run, make it a close game, and then Dagnall calls a timeout, and then we come out on a 10-0 run ourselves, and that's basically it. Again, been doing it all year, so it's not any different. It's more of just important to see it in the playoffs because as much doubt surrounding the team of supposedly people are still thinking we're young, which doesn't make any – I mean, we are technically, but you can't use that excuse. Even if we lose as a Thunder fan, you can't use that excuse. Mm-hmm. So, but no, I think the composure, like you said, of just whenever they punch, we just punch right back and much, much harder.
So who would you rather play in round 2, Denver or the Clippers? Who would you rather play?
Couldn't care less.
I think we don't have really anybody that can match up with the Joker. So that's going to be hard. But, I mean, Kawhi's playing good. And then obviously got Harden over there. But the deal is neither one of them have any depth whatsoever. And if we can get our second group to play anywhere close that they can. I'm not worried about either one of them.
I prefer to do Denver to pick between the two solely for the fact I think no head coach makes a huge impact. You're having Dagnall go up against a team with a interim head coach. That matchup alone will win you a series. I don't care who Dagnall's coaching.
Just like we just did, against Memphis,
Yeah, and you saw the inexperience of that. So, again, Jokic, I don't know. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to call him, but he'll alone probably win a game just because
at least puts you in the fight. Yeah,
that's how good of a player he is. And then I think you could go on the flip side and say the exact same thing about Kawhi if he continues his playoff run. That's just the style of player he is. Playoffs come around, except for the last couple of years, really. But he's a different player. So, but I agree again. I don't think it matters. I'm not worried at all about one of them upsetting us. It's more of, I think Denver we could win in 5. I think Clippers would be probably more of a game 6.
And it's all about like matchups. And the Clippers played some of the best defense I've ever seen a team play on Shai toward the end of the season. It was probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I can't remember. So they would have something like at least sorted out of what they're going for. But that being said, it still doesn't worry me really. He would still probably have a better series than he did against Memphis. And then the rest of the team would still step up, I think. And yeah, like I said a second ago, like I really don't care. I think it would be 5 or 6 regardless. And it'd be cool on both sides, like to beat Jokic in like the MVP battle I've seen people talk about. But then also I think it'd be cool too because they traded away Shai, 5 or 6 years ago. And then seeing him put the nail in this, I think is their last year of a chance. And they could go another year, but if they don't do it this year, that you'd probably say they're not going to get better somehow. So like this is their last chance, and to see Shai send him home would be pretty sick. But that's just
window's
like
closing.
Yeah, that's just the narrative side of it, though. I think basketball-wise, we'd beat either one of them.
But at the same time, too, everyone is picking Clippers to beat us. That's the team that
go for it.
People are picking either LA teams to come at us and beat us. So it'd be enjoyable to beat
that's
them.
A good point. That's
and
a good
then
point.
Lakers aren't coming back from that series, but if we hypothetically like, just go through all the gauntlets, prove everybody wrong.
Maybe 4, man. I'm not going to lie. They are not a very good team. Sorry, that's beside the point.
Well, the regular season, the Clippers were 4th ranked in defense, and Denver was 25th. I mean, that's one thing. Here's my thoughts. You tell me I could be wrong. Let's play Denver and let Jokic get his, and then just make sure we're shutting everybody else down, because I don't think their bench is terrible. They have no bench. To Garrett's point, the coach is an interim coach, and they're going to get tired and they're going to get worn down, and then he's going to have to be battling up against Hartenstein and Chet. Let him have his, and let's just shut him down. What are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I would say that's probably everybody's game plan, essentially. I don't think you're ever going solely just to stop Jokic.
But even then, I think Chet's the best defender in the league against him. People who don't watch the games won't realize that, but I've never seen a player like disrupt every movement of his as much, and then also tear him up on the other end to make him more laxed and gassed. And so I think the matchup, honestly, even is the best in the league.
What about the East right now? Still Boston's to win?
Cleveland's playing good.
I still think Boston, yeah.
Was it Tatum, though, got hurt? So, I mean, he came back and played, but that could have a little lingering effect. He missed a game.
Yeah. And nothing better. Go ahead. Nothing better than Lakers down 3-1 against Minnesota. I'm loving that.
Talking about no depth, they played their 5 starters the entire second half yesterday.
Yeah, and still can win, which I think is nuts. Yeah.
LeBron had the nasty play on Anthony Edwards, and
that was disgusting.
Anthony Edwards still pulled it out. I don't know how he came back. I mean, the ankle didn't look bad from what he was grabbing. It looked more like his knee, which is scarier, but
yeah,
I guess he was fine.
So in the next series, and I get the fact that we don't know who we're going to play, what other supporting player needs to step up for the Thunder in your thoughts? Because Shai, most likely Shai's going to get his. Hopefully he can get that shooting percentage up. But who would you think right now needs to step it up?
I'd like to see Wiggins. He had a terrible series. He did not shoot well. But if we could get Wiggins and Joe to get 20 out of them two to combine every game, that'll help tremendously. But he never got in a rhythm. He never shot well. He didn't play a whole lot. Kendrick Williams didn't even hardly play at all.
Yeah.
But I think Aaron Wiggins and Joe, we need to get in the double or get in the 20s between the two.
I was going to say the same. And Joe, it's hard because like if he isn't hitting his threes, he doesn't have a ton of value to be on the court. He still hustles and he can hold his own for the most part, but at their worst, it doesn't take much for him to get to his worst. He becomes like just less and less valuable. But if he can hit the first couple threes, that's all it takes for him to stretch the entire floor out. And then they have to worry about every kick out possible getting to him. And so if he just comes out, I think game one, starts the series off right, I think he could have a much better series. I don't even think he played terrible. I think I would like to hear his name more. Like how I talked about earlier, it could be a different player every game that makes a difference. I would love to see him be one of them that makes the difference.
I think it depends on who we play, but if it's the Clippers, I think I'd like to see. He had a good series, but I think his role would improve drastically because I think if we play the Clippers, I think we see a different starting five. I think that's when you have Case and Wallace in there instead of Hartenstein, and Hartenstein coming off the bench. And so having him at the 2 probably, then being a big scorer in the, like Ian said, the kick out for whoever's driving, because, I mean, they're going to be pretty good interior-wise, but I'd like to see Case and Wallace have a massive series if we play them, and then I'd probably agree with Clay Wiggins if we play Denver.
Awesome. Anything else Thunder-related that we have not talked about that you're interested in talking about? Them?
Can't think of anything.
All right. Let's talk about the NFL draft briefly, because I know me and Clay are big-time NFL fans. Garrett likes the NFL. Gannon likes the NFL, but they're more Thunder and college football more than anything probably. But I want to talk – there's several things I want to talk about, but one being the Dallas Cowboys draft. I know they focused on offensive line strength by Tyler Booker, the number 12 pick, the guard from Alabama, and they also got Ajani Cornelius, an offensive lineman from Oregon. They also added defensive help with an edge rusher from Boston College, Donovan Ezraruki, something like that. I don't know how you pronounce that, to be honest with you. There's another gentleman by the name of Siobhan Revel, cornerback from East Carolina. They got him in the 3rd round. Moving on. And they also got a couple different running backs. Clay, any initial thoughts on the Cowboys getting a 12th?
I didn't know about
pick?
I mean, I heard of this Booker guy, and I was excited. You know, anytime you get a lineman from Alabama, you know they're probably going to be pretty decent. Kid from Oregon, you know, he's going to play a lot. They made the playoffs, all that good stuff. I was just looking through all the rankings of all the players, and that Booker was way down the list. He was like a 2nd or 3rd round guy, and I was kind of shocked when they took him. I was like, whoa. But, you know, I'm glad they got a lineman. I thought they drafted what they needed. I wish they would have got him a receiver somewhere in there, but I did like we needed a cornerback because Quandre Diggs may not be back fully healthy when the season starts. Definitely, I thought the running back from Texas is really good. He's fast. I don't know much about the Clemson guy, but apparently he's a power guy. But, hey, better than what we had last year. I know that much.
Sure.
So it'd be nice to give those guys a shot. So we'll see. I'm not super excited about the season going in.
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid this year.
No, not feeling it. Dak makes too much money.
Definitely. Garrett, did you guys watch any of the draft?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Clay. I think I knew going in, well, not going in. Once I saw the pick, I knew it was a reach, but I'm pretty happy with it at the same time. Yeah, it would have been nice if we traded back 5-6 spots and picked up another 2nd rounder or whatever next year, but
probably still could have got the same player.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but I think he's doing the right thing. He's rebuilding the offensive line now that we don't have those studs we had for forever. Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, and I mean, I'm even tossing Travis Frederick in there whenever we had that young offensive line. I mean, we should have won anyways, but so now we got Tyler Smith, Tyler Booker, if he can turn out, that Cooper Beebe, I think, or Connor Beebe, something.
Yeah.
He's pretty solid, so we're really prioritizing that, which I love, and I think it is a boring pick nonetheless, but I saw a funny tweet that fans during the regular season, they complain about offensive line, but April comes around, they want a receiver, they want a quarterback, they want the fun, exciting jersey selling players.
Yeah.
They don't want those boring picks. So I think it's a smart move. And then 2nd round, I would have preferred to go after the Marshall guy. I think it's like Mike Green or something that fell towards the later end of the second round. But I understand the Boston College guy played a lot better talent, so there's some more trust in that. But at that point, it seemed like we either went best available or team fit, because I agree. I think Jaden Blue's going to be a big factor.
Sure. Didn't the Green guy, he fall on a lot of boards? He has some off-field issues. Is he the one that has some off-field issues? And he was taking off a lot of boards.
Like Virginia,
We've taken
Virginia
so
Tech.
many players like that, though, and they've turned out.
No, you're right. I agree with you 100%. Yeah, we've done that many times before. What were you saying, Clay?
Yeah, I think he came from like Virginia Tech or something like that and had a lot of issues there.
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, my thoughts are I love those offensive line picks because I think I would build everything from the inside, go out, unless you got a high pick and you're going to pick a quarterback or big time receiver or whatever it might be. But I think that's a great pick. I think we've got two other young guys on the left side. Is it both Tyrons or Tylers? The one kid from Tulsa and then the other kid we drafted last year. To go along with this one here. So I think, Tyler Guyton. Yeah. So I think we'll be in decent shape, but we'll see. I mean, I say that. I mean, we're going to stink still, but I'm just saying for the future anyway. But they did draft what they needed. They got a couple of different running backs. I don't know how much that'll pan out on the one in the 7th round. But yeah, they definitely need a receiver, and they're going to have to do something. And I'm sure they will at some point, but we shall see. I'm not very optimistic about anything, honestly, with this. Let me ask you all about this. Were you shocked that the Cleveland Browns traded back with Jacksonville, and Jacksonville picked up the Heisman Trophy winner from Colorado?
I thought it was one of the, if not maybe the smartest thing the Cleveland Browns have ever done. And then they follow it up with all their stupid quarterback picks. But I thought it was smart because Travis Hunter is not going to make a difference to them next year. I mean, I think he's obviously a very good player. Jacksonville needed to make a splash. They way underwhelmed last year. They needed something. So I thought it was a good trade for both of them. But then Cleveland screwed it up like normal.
Oh, yeah.
I heard, I think Jacksonville 100% lost the trade. I mean, they got a good player, but whenever you get an offer like that, if you're Cleveland, you'd have to be an idiot, and they are idiots, but to pass up that offer, because Jacksonville's Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence, we've seen he's not that great, so it's still probably going to be a top 10 pick next year. And I saw something that Dillon Gabriel, they had multiple private meetings, multiple private workouts, went out to wherever he was at to talk to him multiple times. He was their guy from the beginning, apparently, and that's who they wanted. Then the Shedeur one doesn't make a lot of sense, solely for the fact, especially if you're committing to Gabriel and wanting him to be the guy, even as a 3rd or 4th rounder, whatever he was, then going around and doing that doesn't make a lot of sense. But at the same time, you got on everybody's board a top 10 player in round 5. So I get that, but yeah.
It's just that they have 5 quarterbacks now. That's what doesn't make sense.
Yeah, which I think is why you'll probably see a Flacco or a Kenny Pickett get cut before, or if I don't know how what the schedule looks like, but maybe it's Deshaun Watson if they want to eat that cap now while they have a rookie quarterback contract. Or
he may be on injured reserve all year, anyways.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, true, because he retore ACL. So
I don't think he'll play very much, if any. I don't think he'll play any this year. I think Flacco will probably start out the year. I think Kenny Pickett's the guy that's going to lose out, and probably Dillon Gabriel will lose out in this deal. Here's my thoughts with Shedeur Sanders. I think that's an owner pick. I think the owner probably told him, "Hey, this is who you're going to pick," and that's what they had to do. Did you guys see the video that they're showing of whenever they announced the pick and how they just weren't real excited? They were just kind of, whether or not that was accurate, I don't know. But
they got asked the question about it, and they said they don't remember, they don't know what they were talking about because they obviously weren't watching it, but they were probably exhausted.
Oh yeah,
and the clips don't line up. They never line up with what they're showing us on TV and everything.
Yeah, I think Sanders, from what it sounds like, what's the verbiage they used? He sandbagged some of the interviews. Yeah, botched them basically because he didn't want some of these. He went into some of the interviews with earphones, just kind of walking in there and telling just
supposedly told a couple of teams how they were going to change their offense to fit him.
Yeah, it's like this guy's a clown, absolute clown. I think
he reminds me of Johnny Manziel.
Oh yeah,
but you can't blame him. That's a Dion 100%. You can't blame him.
Yeah,
why?
Dion's running the show. Everybody knows that.
Maybe, I don't know. I just think he. I'm not. I hope he makes it. I hope he does a good job in the NFL, but. We'll see. I don't have any idea. Anything else with the NFL draft? I think some teams that did terrible were Jacksonville. Obviously they got the good pick in Travis Hunter, but I do think that they gave up way too much. I think Atlanta messed up. I think Cleveland did fairly well early on, but then they screwed it up all at the end, like Clay just said a minute ago. I think Philadelphia is one of the best teams out there. They're just very smart. Very savvy how they do their drafts.
Finally have a good draft.
Yeah, Giants did have a really good draft. The Eagles right now are so complete and also young that they have the luxury of picking best available. Doesn't matter what position they are.
True.
And so it allows them just to get some studs at whatever they're at.
Awesome. All right. Let's talk about some Oklahoma Sooner information. Garrett, do you have anything you wanted to cover, or do you want me to jump into what I got? Anything you got?
Not a whole lot of news other than obviously, again, you probably talked about last week, Stone coming back. And
what are your thoughts on that? Because we haven't got your opinion yet. So how were you for those 48 hours or whatever it was?
I was upset. It's frustrating because we're not a team that brings in a whole lot of 5-stars, and we don't have a lot of success with them. If we're being completely honest, we're not the worst, but we're absolutely not the best. And it was just frustrating because I think from what we saw, Venable said he probably had the biggest leap in the offseason out of anybody that he's seen on the team, and does that. But I do hate the fact that he probably did do it and then get a better contract, and that's just the way college football is going. But everybody else is doing it, so if you want to even have a chance and compete, you got to do the same thing, which is
right.
Unfortunate, and it sucks, but yeah, it's exciting. I think he's going to be a stud. I really do. It's just frustrating.
Any shock with Gavin Sawchuk jumping into the portal?
He would have been a 4th string, so completely understand that. I'm just tired of seeing us play our 4th strings, so I don't know why we keep doing that, but I think it'll be Jaden Ott starting. I think you'll see Taylor Tatum get some reps, and I think you'll see Xavier Robinson deserve some as well.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I don't know where Javonte Barnes falls into that, but he's above Sawchuk, so Sawchuk might have been 5th, in all honesty. I kind of forgot about Xavier Robinson.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that one either. I completely forgot about him. He looked pretty good there towards the end of the year. I know. Let's see here. We've got Tate Sandel, a kicker. We got a kicker again. I think he's a lefty, if I'm not mistaken, from what it looked like on what I saw. Obviously, I think there's some concerns with our kicking game once again, which we can't afford. We can't afford it anyway. I don't think you sure as heck can afford it in the SEC. What are your all's thoughts?
I think that was huge. I don't think people are. That's a definitely underrated portal pickup. How huge it was to get somebody like that to come in. Apparently, he was one of the best ones last year in football. So getting somebody like that is good. I don't know I wish I forgot to look this up, but I don't remember the record. The OU had the record of something like 14, 15 straight years of having at least 4 guys drafted, and that was broken this year. We only had 2.
We had 2. Who, Stutzman and Bowman?
OSU had.
Oklahoma State had more than us.
They had 4. Iowa State had like 5. So that didn't tell you what kind of team we had last year. Now, if you sit there and think about our team, what we got going to be seniors, could be graduate. We could have 8 or 9 drafted this next year.
Sure.
Because you think on offense, Mateer's going to get drafted. Deion Burks is going to get drafted. This Jaden Ott might get drafted. I don't know about the lineman, but then on defense,
Giovanni Gibson, I think, will get drafted.
Giovanni Gibson, yeah. Defense, we'll have Peyton Bowen. We'll have
Gentry Williams.
Who?
Gentry.
Yeah, Gentry Williams, two or three of those defensive linemen could go. Who's the linebacker?
Kip.
Kip Lewis?
Yeah, Kip Lewis.
You think he's going to go?
He could. If he has a year like he did this past year, he could go. So,
Okay.
I mean, we're looking at 8 or 9 guys, and that's how you win. I mean, when you got 2, and you think about that these seniors were all recruited by Lincoln Riley, and then our players that get drafted were defensive players. So it shows you how bad our offense, where they all left and weren't there anymore. Terrible.
What do you think recruits see? Do they see that and think, "Oh man, they got several NFL players drafted"? Like I think Texas had, was it 12 this year?
Mm-hmm.
We had 2.
Georgia had
But if
13.
we were able to jump back into it, do you think recruits are looking, "Hey, that's awesome," or are they looking at, "Hey, I need some NIL"?
I think it's NIL money across the board. I don't think draft. I mean, it's a good selling point for the coaches, but that number doesn't match up with what the other team is matching or offering. Yeah. You're not going to go there.
I totally agree. I think it's NIL money because I saw a thing that was posted that if Quinn Ewers would have transferred from Texas, he might have made $5 to $6 million, say at Oregon,
7 or
USC,
8 is what I saw.
Something like that, and he's going to probably get the league minimum at $750,000.
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask that. I was getting ready to say, how would you be? You would hate to be him currently at this point because
last quarterback taken.
Yeah, and you take it by the Dolphins, right? I just don't think he's that good. I hope he does well because I mean I don't think Tua is the answer right now in Miami either. So we'll see. I don't know. Any other news for Oklahoma that you guys want to cover? You good with that?
Go Sooner softball, sweeping the Longhorns. That's always a good thing.
There you go. Anytime a victory over those Goobers, it's always good, right? All right. Let's see here. Let me ask you all this. Are you all there? I don't know what's going on. Is that my internet or is that your internet that keeps going out? It's going out like crazy.
Nah, it just bumped me off my mic.
I know,
so
Garrett, I'm not seeing Garrett right now.
Getting ready for the tornadoes in Oklahoma.
Yeah, you're right. Everybody needs to be careful tonight because it's going to be crazy for sure, unfortunately. All right, let me look for these questions that I was going to ask you guys. All right, here we go. We are ready. Hopefully Garrett gets back on pretty quick. So this will be a good question. Oh, okay, so I just can't see him. Okay, never mind, my bad. All right. If you had to pick one,
he's looking pretty good.
Thunder, like if the Thunder if you had to pick one, win a Thunder championship this year or the OU Sooners winning a national title this year, who are you going to pick?
Not even debatable.
Oklahoma.
The Thunder.
Sooners.
Clay, what did you say?
Sooners.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be difficult, but I would probably have to go with the Sooners, unfortunately. But speaking of Thunder, then, if you could add any player from any team to the Thunder right now for this playoff run, who would it be and why? If you could add any player from any team.
Any answer other than Durant is the wrong answer.
Cooper Flag.
Gannon, you're saying you would add Durant or not add Durant?
Is it? You're saying we could just add any player that's played for us?
You could add any player right now to
that's
but
played
we'd have
for
to
us?
give up Chet and
No,
Jada.
it doesn't have to. No. You're not giving up anybody.
So all we're doing is adding a past player.
Not even
It
past
doesn't have to. It
current
doesn't even have
NBA
to be a
player.
past Thunder player.
Yeah. I just took that as past Thunder.
I mean, Thunder player, who would it be? And then any player, who would it be?
I'd say Giannis.
I might say Kevin Durant either way, actually. Giannis can't shoot. Every guy that plays in the court
we don't
shoot,
need
except for Hartenstein. But he can dish it at least.
Play Giannis instead of Hartenstein? Holy jeez.
His defense has gotten laxed.
Garrett, what would you pick?
Cooper Flag.
Are you serious?
Doesn't even make sense.
100%.
What about Michael Jordan?
Too many
said
guards.
Current?
Did I say current? I don't know. I'm just kidding. Yeah, you're right.
You're a clown.
I'm not a clown.
What was I didn't hear I don't think anybody heard the question clearly.
He's
then.
changed it 3 times already.
Okay,
so.
fair enough. My answer is Kevin Durant either way.
I said if you could add any player from any team to the Thunder right now for the playoff run, who would it be and why?
Oh, current player.
It didn't say current. I never said the verb
just said
current.
Right now.
If you could add
now.
any player from any team to the Thunder right now, for the playoff run right now.
Right now means present.
Yeah, right. You said current.
I didn't say the word current. Jeez, man, you guys are killing me. Absolutely killing me. What else? What about Thunder? What else, Thunder? Anything you're looking forward to? Who do you think it's going to be? Do you think Golden State or Houston right now?
Golden State.
Yeah.
Golden State.
Houston stinks.
Golden State without Jimmy's kind of scary if he comes back.
I think we'll play the Clippers and beat them in 6, and I think we'll beat Minnesota in 6.
Well, that's a wrap for another adrenaline-charged ride inside the Foxx Den. Remember that iron sharpens iron. Please stay safe. Be savage and not average. And remember to join the skulk. And as always, what the dog says, stay thirsty, my friends. Until we meet again, goodbye, everybody. Boomer.
Sooner.
Thank you for listening to the Foxx Den Sports Podcast. Be sure to subscribe for free to our YouTube channel, Foxx Den Sports. And also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Foxx Den Sports and on Facebook at Foxx Den Sports Podcast. You can also email us at foxdensports@yahoo.com. This has been Foxx Den Sports.